Her brain started to grow outside. Mum looks closer and calls the doctor. Some people are unfortunate to get saddled with rare diseases. These diseases are incurable and most often cause their host embarrassment and make them feel insecure. At least for some, there seems to be some form of semi-permanent solution in sight. Today's story is about a young lady whose scalp took on a brain-like appearance. Greetings and welcome back to our channel. If you are new here, please subscribe to support our channel. Also, press the alarm bell and turn on YouTube notifications on your phone. Thank you and enjoy. The scalp, after suffering an injury, gets affected by folds. It is important to remove the lesions that occur during surgery. This is the main treatment for such an occurrence. Marcia is a 35-year-old woman in Santarem who was born with a rare disease called cutis verticus gyrata. It is a disease that causes deep folds of the scalp as well as reduction of hair at the affected place. Marcia was born with this disease, which gave a brain-like appearance. This condition is classified as atypical dermatosis. For some people, this disease reveals itself at birth as a disease or a physical appearance of itself. In Marcia's case, the disease had jeopardized almost half of her skull. After a long period, Marcia was not aware of what she was putting herself through. She was now undergoing therapy at the Lower Amazon Regional Hospital, HRBA. She explained that she had always seen this as a sign. A large mass was seen on her nerve when she was traveling to Bethlehem. This had now turned into a large enigma. The treatment included surgery which will remove all the lesions. The damages to the skin are usually removed. However, when the patient is younger and the damages are minor, only the full damaged areas are removed. Dr. Yulma Amaro is a plastic surgeon at the hospital. He is someone who favours surgeries in cases where the patient's scalp has shrunk more than half. While Marcia is undergoing pre-op, a biopsy will also be performed. Maria's condition brought attention to her everywhere she went. She would receive curious looks from people all over. After some time, she learnt to live with both the disease and the stares from people. It is impossible for me to be embarrassed by anything. People have a variety of physical characteristics, but I have never had a problem like this before. This is nothing more than a headache, the doctor said. He went on to say that as this is a straightforward surgery, Marcia is expected to make a full recovery. The doctor explained that the surgery required patience as they would be extending her healthy scalp and taking out the lesions. Even though this case is very rare, Marcia is not the only one with it. It is estimated that 1 in every 100,000 men and 0.26 in every 10,000 women, there are more than merely bumps on the scalp. This condition occurs in two distinctive ways. According to Emma Norton, a dermatologist at Mountain State Dermatology, inflammatory cases like psoriasis and others are examples of potential antecedents for CVG. Emma said that there are two types of the disease. The main one is where people are born with the condition, and the second one is where people acquire the disease some other way. On her website, she states that those who are born with the disease are at a higher risk of developing other diseases like neurological ones, such as a seizure, and ocular problems like cataracts. The second one doesn't usually show symptoms, but it is still necessary to be cautious about your scalp. Most people see CVG surgery as purely aesthetic. Norton explained that it is likely they would get moles in that area, and that would cause a problem if a melanoma were to develop. However, there is currently no cure for people who have CVG. There are still some precautions one can take to prevent developing additional problems. Norton says that what she usually discusses with her patients is proper scalp care. This includes keeping the scalp clean in order not to risk getting infections. She says that there have been a number of patients who have undergone surgery to correct this problem. The surgery is cosmetic in nature and is done to remove the excess skin on the scalp. Dr. Raman in New York City earlier this year performed 2 treatments on a man to smooth out the bumps caused by CVG and to relieve the tension caused by his scalp being 4 times thicker. According to the journal Plastics report, the patient was very impressed with his surgery as it was very well done. The surgeries done for people diagnosed with CVG are very effective. However, the relief that comes with it may not be lifelong. This disease is known to affect more men than it does females. It usually shows up after puberty or before 30. When there is an underlying medical condition, the nature of the underlying condition determines the source of the disease. If the patient seeks surgery for psychological or domestic reasons, care may include keeping the folds clean and/or eliminating the folds completely off the patient's head. These are the kind of symptoms that people suffering from the disease may see or feel. Generally, people suffering from the same disease can experience different symptoms at different times. Even though two people have CVG, one might show all the symptoms, while the other might only show half of the symptoms. This information is gathered from a database called the Human Phenotype Anthology. It contains half of the information in the HPL. Information on symptoms that have been reported in medical resources has to be compiled by the HPL. The HPL is amended on a regular basis to the information current and up to date. To get more information about a particular symptom on the HPL, enter the HPL ID in the search box. The information available currently does not reveal the cause of CVG. Its cause is unknown. If it's an isolated case or related to other conditions, it is usually put under 3 different types. One is solitary. This means that it associates with underlying conditions and multi-factors. Primal essential usually means that the disease cannot be linked to any other abnormalities or diseases. However, it is not very clear in this case. Even though the disease appears to be sporadic in nature, both autosomal recessive and autosomal dominant inheritance have been recorded in the scientific nature. Having an intellectual disability, cerebral palsy or seizures, cranial abnormalities, deafness, schizophrenia, eye or vision abnormalities, or a mixture of these disorders may indicate that you have a primary non-essential. It is possible to have all these diseases and symptoms. The cause of having everything may be endocraniological in nature. If you have a secondary case, you can trace it back to many underlying diseases and treatments. To have to go through something different is very disheartening, both for the victim and the people who see it. Our world, unfortunately, is full of people who are different. Some were born that way and others became that way. Here's another story of 2 siblings who are suffering from a rare disorder. Due to a disease called progeria, otherwise known as Benjamin Button disease, these 2 siblings from Belgium experience premature aging. Associated problems with this disease include problems with patients' teeth, bone and hair growth. At age 20, Mikhail stands 4 foot 1 inch, while his sister is just 3 feet 7 inches at 12 years old. If you watch the recording of the 2 siblings, you will immediately notice that Mikhail and Amber's facial features make them look much older than their actual ages. The rare disease is not inherent, but rather randomized, with only about 155 cases worldwide. Although doctors shared with the family that it would be impossible to have another child with the same condition, 8 years after Mikhail's birth, Amber was born. Though the lifespan of someone with progeria is around 13 to 14 years old, Leon Botha was a young man who lived to 26 years old. Mikhail hopes to outlive him, reaching at least 30 years old. These siblings are just like other teens and enjoy their free time and hanging out with their friends. Their story shows that life can't be taken for granted, and Mikhail's message exemplifies that. People have to enjoy their life as much as possible because even for them, life's too short and you have got to make the most of it, he said. 30-year-old Jalissa Austin was born without arms or knees. At 3 feet 4 inches, Austin was told she would never be able to walk or have a normal life. Just like the Van der Wheat family was told, Austin's mother was told her daughter would never be able to walk. Thankfully, the doctors were wrong. Austin can definitely stand and walk on her own. This is the end of today's video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Also, like and share this video with your friends and family. Thank you and bye.